Let's talk about a controversial topic. Tube amps. Are they dead? Hmm. So, really, let's look at. I look at 5 things that I think the reason why, and I'll go back to 5 things that I think as to why I argue for tube amps. Well, number one, the advancements of digital modeling technology has really been amazing. I mean, if you look at companies like Kemper, they have the Axe FX and the Neural DSP quad core techs, and some of the other like Line 6. They make really good. I mean, the technology inside is really good. They can emulate the sounds of tube amps with really incredible accuracy. And of course, one of the things too is that these devices offer like access to hundreds of amp tones that you would not even be able to, I guess if you like rich like John Mayer or like Joe Bonamassa, be able to purchase boutique amps, but this gives you really the ability to play any kind of amp that you want without, having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on them. Another thing too is that really, from the perspective of just these modelers, they're easy to kind of, tug around. Just put it in your gig bag and you're good to go. A lot of times you don't even need a FR, which is the basically the speakers that would be directly. You can just connect directly into the front of house of many places, And the problem with tube amps is they're heavy, they're fragile, they require a lot of maintenance. While the digital alternatives are lightweight, durable, and often come in, compact forms, like literally at the size of a keyboard. In some of these, in some kinds, in some size of a pedal. And I think that's really a excellent cost measure, which gets to this cost of maintenance. I mean, if you think about it, with tube amps, they're pretty pricey. You're looking at something like 1,000 to 1,500 to 3,000, sometimes $4,000 for tube amps. While you can pick up a modeler for, I don't know, like you can get one on Amazon for $300. In some cases, $250. So I mean, it becomes really, especially for a budding musician, especially a guitarist. You're guitaring on a budget, I call it. So there's definitely, an advantage there. Another thing is that with modelers, you can integrate very easily with your DAW. Or called digital audio workstation. It's like so much easier to record with a modeler than it would be with a tube amp. For example, with tube amps, you have to, unless there are some certain tube amps that have like DI outs, but for the most part, you'd have to mic it up. This is another, investment cost, if you will, to get the mic and then the stand and everything else to set it up. In some cases, a lot of these modelers have built-in PC integration, so you just connect it via USB and you already have like a built-in DAW, if you will, with a lot of these modelers. Nothing too is that really it's listeners are just, the expectation of listeners are different. Like they're not like, with the world of streaming and compressed audio, the nuances that you used to hear on the record with the warmth of the amp and noticeable differences, like listeners don't really care too much about, like, oh, what's that sounds like it's a Marshall, JCM, whatever, or whatever. I think a lot of times listeners really don't notice the difference. And just as a side note, if you ask anyone, like, I was gonna say 30 years or younger, who the members of the Beatles are, I would probably say that most of them would not even know who the members of the Beatles were. That's kind of how people are. Like today, if you think about it, like, does anyone know any of, let's say, the band members of a modern group today? No, they just know that song. Sorry, just getting off my, got a little off the tangent there. And another thing too is that many guitarists prioritize the use of consistency. They want a consistent sound, so when you are traveling and you're going from stage to stage with tube amps, one of the biggest downfalls of a tube amp is that you lug this heavy thing, you bring it to one venue, and it sounds different from when you were playing at a previous venue. So you don't get that consistent sound that many guitarists are looking for with tube amps. Of course, there are purists out there who swear by the tube amps like rule. And if you really think about it, like, what are some of the main reasons why people really kind of navigate towards tubes? Really, it's that unmatched warmth and tone. And I can attest to this because all my equipment is digital. I have my Boss Katanas, which are basically digital modeling amps. I have a really cheap digital modeling board, and I mean, it sounds great, but like, I remember one time I was at Guitar Center and I plugged a guitar into an orange head and cab, and I was just blown away by the sound. Then I plugged another guitar into a I think it was a Princeton Reverb. Oh my goodness, just amazing, just warmth and tone from those amps. But then, like, everything got discouraged when I picked up the head of that orange amp. I was like, whoa, this is pretty heavy stuff. I mean, today's amps, though, the newer ones, they are a little bit lighter, but still, they can be kind of hefty. It's not something you could lug around and just put into your gig bag. Another thing too is that people swear by there's a dynamic response and feel to it, because with digital, as you notice, it's there's a little bit of a lag when it comes to the sound. Not perceptible to like a general listener, but if you are playing the guitar, you kind of notice that lag, and it's not something that's I would say going to stop you from using a digital modeler, but it's something that we as guitarists know, and you don't get that response and feel that you get from a tube amp. Now, keep in mind too that when you are, doing these things, like for example, with the tube amp, when you lower the volume on your guitar, the response of the amp is going to change. You don't get that same feel in a digital modeler where you lower the volume. I'll give you an example. Like if you are on a, let's say, a Fender Bassman, right? If you turn the volume up and you have the gain channel, let's say at 12 o'clock or something like that, right? You turn the volume down, it has a nice like clean kind of feel, but then you can just turn the volume up and you get that nice crunchy, not crunchy, but like that edge of breakup sound, which is a lot of guitarists love to hear. So there is definitely that feel that you get from it, and of course, when you add like maybe like that natural overdrive channel, or maybe you put a overdrive pedal in front of the amp, it's going to really push those tubes and make it sound real nice. And you just, I don't know what it is, and this is my experience with digital model, is that when it comes to overdrive in digital modelers, it's not the same feeling as when you put an overdrive pedal in front of a tube amp. And of course, obviously, I guess this all depends on like how old you are. I'm a Gen Xer, so like there's always been this iconic sound from tube amps, and obviously from listening to records from like Hendrix, Page, Clapton, you name that, SRV, they all had that real classic iconic sound, like the Plexi sound, the Fender Twin sound, the Vox AC30 sound. There's something that you just can't replicate, and you hear it on these albums and stuff. You're just like, wow, how did they get that sound? And yeah, and you realize that they got it from using these tube amps. And this is something that I probably think why a lot of people, and I'm gonna say like my age and older, really kind of move towards tube amps, is because of its like real simplicity and purity. I mean, it's very simple. You just turn the amp on, you put the dials where you want them. Don't even have to have a pedal board in front, and you just start playing and you'll get the sounds that you want. As with a lot of like digital modelers, you'll sometimes have to sit down and there's some digital models of just the UI experience is not that great, where you have to menu dive, just go down 10 menus just to get to like the overdrive sound. And that can be kind of intimidating for people who are not very tech savvy. And I guess the last real big thing, honestly, is that from the perspective of tube amps, is you get this like kind of like this nostalgia. It has this nice aesthetics to it. It's really like something like, in some cases, some amps just look beautiful, and they look great like in a room. Like nothing says to me beauty like a Fender Tweed, or a maybe an orange amp with that orange Tolex, or that Marshall stacked, and you're on stage and you see this Marshall stack, and you just know that you're gonna get blown away by the sound. Yeah. So, are tube amps dead? I don't think really they're dead, but it's all about really what works for you. And if you're a tone chaser who loves the classic vibes, then stick with tubes, But if you value portability, if you like the versatility, if you like the ease of use, then get yourself a digital modeler. Either way, the most important thing is to keep playing and creating. So what's your take? Comment below. And let me know in the comments how you feel. Are you team tube, or are you team digital, or you don't care? To me, I'll let you know I'm more of a digital guy, because it's just very simple and easy for me to take to a show or to an open mic with. But as more and more I progress in my guitar world knowledge, I'm starting to lean towards tubes, because I love the sound of it. But I understand that this is sound. I probably will get a tube amp, but it'll probably just sit in my studio and never be moved and use it for recording, as opposed to like grabbing a modeler and taking with me, because it's nice and light and easy to and it's portable. All right, so tell me what you think, and till next time, I'm Ninja Mal, and keep tickling those frets.